Okay, so listed below is the data from our class penny toss from before the break, excluding the number of pennies people started with based on the dice roll. So obviously we didn't have any y-intercepts with these. So this is pure data based on how quickly people could throw pennies into cups, not where they started. Okay? And in case you're wondering, it is in alphabetical order, because I copy-pasted from the Excel sheet. Now, first things first, this was kind of a pain with this question, and I was nice on the first formative. I listed them in order for you. This time you have to list them in order yourself. Okay? And so I'm just going to write these down. You tell me if I make a mistake, but I don't think I did because I wrote it down. 12. I'm not even going to read them out loud. I'm just going to write them down. All right. I almost made it. Not quite. Could have shrunk it. Okay. Mean, median, mode. So start with the easy one. The one that requires the least amount of, you don't have to, but the one that requires the least amount of work is which one? Mode. So just count the one that appears the most. Okay. So if as I go through here, I notice that there are 324s. So there's my mode is 24. Okay, when I count up, or I won't make that so. Median, I'm going to find the middle of the data set. And conveniently, if you count this up, there are 23 entries. And so the middle will be 12 on either, what did I say? Yeah. 11 on either side. 12th one in the middle, right? Yeah. Okay. So just count to the 12th from either end, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. Okay, and then the mean. Have we seen this funny looking symbol before? It's also pretty. Is it a Greek letter? I think it might be a Greek letter. I think it is a Greek letter. Yeah? Some, that's what it means, some, but it has a name. Kenneth?
Sigma.
Sigma. Sigma is its name. So we're going to sum all the entries. Okay, again, this means or add. Okay, and then divide by the total number of them. Okay, and so you should have seen, when you add all that up, you would have got, you tell me if I'm wrong, if anybody got this differently. It's very easy to just miss a number or something. Does this look familiar to people? Right. Sorry, I'll move that up so you can all see. All right. No, as long as 2 or 3 people, I just, outside of doing this 2 or 3 times, I'm not going to be able to actually figure out if that's right or wrong unless I typed it into the Excel sheet and did it. But it's very easy to miss a number and make a mistake, as I'm sure you're probably aware. This is kind of a pain, okay? But it has to be done, and you have to know how to do it. So, second part here is, as long as we're okay with the first part, I'm going to draw me a box and whisker. Okay? Now, right off the bat, I think because it'd been 2 weeks since I'd drawn one of these things, I had to think, oh, how do you do this again? Well, I would say I started with this, right? I drew myself a little line, number line, started at 0, and I looked at, maybe I went up to, what was the highest? 45 was the highest value? 45. So I said, okay, well, I'll make it 60. I'll just make it 60 as the highest, okay? And then, yes, Ollie?
Yeah, go back downstairs.
Oh, yes, now you can, yeah, you haven't finished this part. Go back downstairs. So then I start like, okay, well, I'll just cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half, and I'll just get some values. That's how I do my number lines, because I think it's kind of nice, right? So cut in half, there's 30. Half of 30 is 15. You know, if I add 15 to 30, I'm good. That was fast.
I got one.
And then 45. All right. Are we happy with that? So then we just label on. We got to figure out, sorry, we do have to figure out one other thing. We know Q2, the median, is conveniently, I think, 30. No, 29. 30 was the mean. So 29 would be right here, just like close to it, but not quite. Okay, there's Q2. Okay, and then we got to go find Q1 and Q3 in the data set. Remember, pretend you didn't circle Q2. It's the upper half and the lower half. Okay, so Q2 marks the middle, but you have to mark in includes. Here, the middle of this is Q1, and the middle of this is Q3. Okay? Yes, Greer?
Is 29 like the first 29 in the sequence included in Q1?
Yeah, everything from here over. You got to count. Is that okay? Okay, and then from here over this way is like the second half of the data set. And so you're finding the middle of the first half and the middle of the second half. Okay? Are we okay? The upper half's a little, well, not trickier, it's just an extra little step, okay? So there should be, what did we say? How many entries on the left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, what? How many on each side? Where am I going? Did I count that right? No, 13. That's why I'm confused. 13, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What's going on here? We're missing one? Oh no, 12 and 12. So on the left side, it's like be these two in the middle, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Everybody agree? Yes, Brad? Yeah, Brad. Okay, so because 24 and 20, that's the same number, so that way Q1's going to be 24. Are we happy? You guys need to be more vocal when I'm struggling. Q1 is going to be 24. Okay, and then Q3, when I count Q3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's these two here. So now what? You got to find the middle of those two values. Yes, Opal?
You add them and divide them by 2.
Add them and divide them by 2. Okay? And so 33 and 37 divided by 2 should be 35. That is Q3. Okay? So now I would go back on my graph or my little like box and whisker. Okay? Also, don't forget I would call this number of pennies. Okay? I'd go find 35. Well, how do I find 35? Well, I could dissect this into two more pieces, equal pieces. This would be 35, 40. Okay, 35 is here. And then I gotta go find 24. Are we happy? Here's Q1, Q3. Yes, Mark?
So do you use, for Q2, like if there's only one in the middle, does it just like solo out when you're like counting Q1 and Q3?
Solo out.
Like,
So
is it just like isolated when you try and find Q1 and Q3?
whatever the median is, it cuts the whole data set in half, and then you have to include all entries on either half. Is that okay? Does that answer it? Including the half. So if there is just one, it's got to include that halfway point, because it's not. You can't just delete the value from the data set. Okay, so it has to include. You have to count that one that's in the middle, the median Q2. Sometimes if there's two in the middle, Q2's in the middle of both of them, and you don't have any worries. Now it's just splitting it both in equal halves. Okay, Aaron? I can't remember. I think you include it. You can't just delete a value. I don't think you can delete a value from the data set. That's going to skew it. You know what I mean?
But then it wouldn't be equal because one side would have more points than the other.
Are you talking about the second thing I said to Merck, or right now what we're doing?
No, for Q, or what she said, I guess.
I'll have to look back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we did the 29. Like,
I think we're okay with this one. It's something else. I'll have to look, Aaron. We'll look, okay? Okay. Outliers. Do we have outliers?
No.
Okay, how do we know? Interquartile range we found. Let's do that. Interquartile range is, where did I do it? 11. Okay. Low outlier, you can just use this equation because we found the interquartile range. Okay. So the low outlier should be 7.5. And the high outlier should be, what did I do? 51.5. So, something to think about. Go back to your data set. Do you have any values outside of those points? The high outlier and the low outlier. Do you have any data points that are bigger than 51.5 or smaller than 7.5? Yes or no? Yes, Elizabeth? No, there is not. That's an important question that I think a lot of people are just not paying attention to, and I could very easily give you outliers on the test on Friday, and guess what? You're out of luck because some of you aren't paying attention. So there are no outliers because there's nothing in the data set that's lower than 7.5 or higher than 51.5. So you just go find the data points that are highest and lowest in your data set, so 12 and 45, and those mark your whiskers. And we are done with this question. Any questions?